Hi friends, welcome to follow up. Let's have a look at today's daily challenge problem, problem 228, summary ranges. This is an easy problem marked by leetcode. However, this is an interesting problem. So here we are going to do this problem using a standard for loop. However, there are two things we want to emphasize. First, let's look at the problem statement. So here we are given a sorted unique integer array called nums. So notice that this is in sorted order. So a range AB is a set of all integers from A to B inclusive, right? So we are required to return the smallest sorted list of ranges that cover all the numbers in the array exactly. So here each range AB in the list should be output as something like this. If A does not equal to B, so we are starting from A, and then we have a hyphen and an arrow, then ending at B. So if A and B are the same, so we just need to return the endpoint. So here are two examples. For example, in the first one, so 0, 1, 2 is an interval, so we can regard it from 0 to 2, and 4 and 5, so we're going to have 4 and 5, and 7 itself. And in the second example, we have 0, 2, 3, 4, right? And then 6, and 8, and 9. So that's basically the two examples. So the constraints for the problem are listed here. So the length, notice that is bounded above by 20. And this second constraint is about the element range. And all the values of nums are unique. And lastly, nums is in sorted ascending order. So with that said, basically we are ready to write the code. So here the logic is very straightforward. We just need to get continuous piece of ranges and then put in the correct format and return. So here what we want to do. So here's the strategy. So basically it's a for loop, right, or linear scan for the check. So here are 2 points we need to keep in mind. First, the return format. So if A and B are the same, we just need to return a single endpoint in the string format. If A and B are not the same, so we're going to return something like this, right, in a specific string format. This is the one thing. Another thing is that don't forget the last range. For example, in example 2, so we have 8 and 9, or if we have 10, 8, 9, 10. So we cannot left out the last one. So with that said, basically, let's look at the coding. So here we want to make a trick to avoid the second point in order to not forget the last range. So notice that the number here is bounded above by 2 to the power 31 minus 1. And then we can append an additional number which has a gap larger than 1, such that we do not need write some longer code, right? So this is just a remark or just a trick. So with that said, basically we are ready to do the coding. So first, let's initialize a result variable. So this is an empty list which holds the return strings. So its final state is what we want to return. So first, let's check an edge case, if not nums. So we just need to return the current state, right? So here, in order to not forget the last range, here I'm going to append another integer just for simplicity, so not thought. So here append. So I'm going to append 2 to the power 31, then plus 1, as long as they have a gap larger than 1 at least, because the largest possible one is this number, right? So next, we just need to use the for loop. So first, I'm going to get the length of this nums, the new nums. Actually, this n is larger by 1 than the original nums list. So now let's do the iteration. So first, I'm going to initialize a start. So this is the nums 0, right? The start of a possible range. And then we are going to do the iteration. So for I in range, so we just need to start from index 1 and then ending at this end, right? So what we are going to check is mainly this logic. If nums I equals nums I minus 1 plus 1. In other words, we can extend to this current index. So in this situation, we just need to continue. Otherwise, so we actually, because this is not the same, so we meet an end at nums I minus 1. So in this case, we need to pay attention to the return format as in the 2 points, the pointer 1. So in this case, we are going to check if nums I minus 1 equals start, right? If this is the case, so we're going to do this. So I'm here going to use a f string. So basically we want to string the start, right? So this is 1. Otherwise, so we know that the start and the nums I minus 1, they are different. So we're going to append. So again, I'm going to use f string. So the first one is string start. And then I'm going to add this hyphen and arrow. And then we're going to string nums I minus 1, right? And due to the way we treat the list, so in other words here, this line, avoid checking the last index in the original array, right? So we did this. So now we can directly return. So the result will be what we need. So let's directly return this result variable. So this solution, this format forms a solution format to this problem. So before we make any comments, let's first do a test. This is wrong. So here I guess I forgot to update the start. So here let's write start equals nums I, right? Each time, so we meet this situation. So we're going to because it ends at nums I minus 1, so this new start will be here. Now let's check again. Yeah, it passes one example. Now let's look at the generic case. Yeah, it passes the generic case. So this is the one solution format, but you know, if some people might be writing like this, so we have this one, and then if this, so basically we just if this one we are going to continue, right? So let's see if we write like this. And then I'm going to change this one to be version v1. Now let's test version v2. Yeah, it passes the first example. Now let's look at the generic case. Yeah, so it passes all the generic cases. So that's basically about it for this specific problem. So notice that here we didn't do anything fast, but we just use a for loop. But as we mentioned at the very beginning, so we need to pay attention to the return format. So here we are using f string. So f string feature is available in Python since Python 3.6. So this is one point. Another point is that we shouldn't forget the last range. Sometimes people, for example, for this one, some coding formats return this one, forgetting the last range. So in order to alleviate or incorporate this situation, we use a trick by appending a large number which has a gap greater than 1. So this way, we don't need to check the last index. So with that said, basically that's it for this video. Thank you.